Hi there, Mr. Sussman here, back this time to talk to you today about personal pronouns. We've discussed nouns in the past, and as you may remember, nouns are used to express a person, place, thing, or in some cases, an idea. But nouns are not the only words that do that. This is where pronouns come in. Pronouns take the place of nouns in sentences, and we do that to make writing flow more smoothly. Let's take a look at an example so you can see what I mean. Here's a paragraph. My friend Jan barely survived last summer. Jan was sailing with Jan's family off the coast of Florida when a storm came up. The storm capsized Jan and her family's boat. Fortunately, Jan and her family had life jackets, which saved Jan and her family's lives. Now, grammatically, that sentence is absolutely fine. Really, there's no fault with it in terms of the rules. However, I think you'll agree with me that it's stilted and sounds and reads very clumsy. But we can fix that. We can smooth it out through the use of pronouns. Let's take a look. I have substituted some of those nouns in the previous paragraph with pronouns. So it sounds like this. My friend Jan barely survived last summer. She was sailing with her family off the coast of Florida when a storm came up. It capsized their boat. Fortunately, they had life jackets, which saved their lives. Meaning is absolutely the same. It was just a matter of taking out some of the nouns and putting in pronouns instead. So, there are several different kinds of personal pronouns. I'm not going to discuss all of the types of pronouns in a great deal of depth here, but I want to touch on a few kinds. First kind is the subject pronoun. And if you do not remember what the subject of a sentence is, well, basically, it's usually the star of the sentence, the person, place, or thing that the sentence is really focused on. If you want more detail on the subjects of sentences and you don't remember it, I suggest you take one of our Right Source books or another textbook and look up information on the subjects and predicates of sentences. But at any rate, the subject pronouns, very easy. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. I don't think there's anything that's unfamiliar to you in there. So some examples. I think I will go home after school today. Do you think it is a good idea? Jose and Maria will be leaving school late, so they will come later. All those words in red are personal pronouns, subjective personal pronouns, as a matter of fact. The next kind of personal pronoun I want to call your attention to are object pronouns. And again, if you don't know what an object is, we'll be getting to that, or you can take the initiative of finding out what objects are by picking up one of our textbooks. But basically, instead of I, you, he, she, it, it becomes me, your, him, her, it. And instead of we, you, they, we use us, you, and them. And let's see how we use object pronouns. Here's an example. Is Jose coming with me? I am the object of the action. Jose is doing the action. I am the one receiving it. But I do not say, is Jose coming with I, because I'm the object. I use the objective form of the pronoun. So it becomes, is Jose coming with me? Mr. Sussman threw the eraser to him. He's the one on the receiving end of the action. So I don't say Mr. Sussman threw the eraser to he. I use the objective form. Mr. Sussman threw the eraser to him. Similarly, did Juan give a gift to you for your birthday? And if there are extra players on your soccer team, the coach should use them in the game. Not they in the game, them in the game. And finally, I want to talk about possessive pronouns. And these are the ones in green on this chart. And basically, as you might imagine, possessive pronouns express possession of something. Mine, my, your, yours, his, hers, its, etc. So, the book he borrowed last week is mine. I don't recommend that they go on the hike, but it's their decision. My brother and I bought the car last week, so now it's ours. Final concept I want to talk about is antecedents. Now that's a fancy mouthful of a word, but really the concept behind antecedents is pretty simple. An antecedent is the noun to which a pronoun refers, or another way of saying that is an antecedent is the noun that is replaced by a particular pronoun. Let's look at some examples. Joe threw the balls to my dog, who chased them. All right, we have the pronoun them in this sentence. But what is them? We want to know what noun them is replacing. Well, the noun is balls. So balls is the antecedent of the pronoun them. Let's take another example. I did not walk to school along the road because it was covered with fresh asphalt. We have the pronoun it. What is it? It is the road. The word it, the pronoun it, is taking the place of road farther on in this sentence. Therefore, road is the antecedent of the pronoun it. And I hope you can see what an antecedent is there, and that it's a big word being used for what is basically a very simple concept. So let's summarize what we've learned in this presentation. First of all, pronouns, which are one of the 8 parts of speech, by the way, take the place of nouns in sentences. We use pronouns to make our writing and our speech easier and less clumsy. We know about subjective personal pronouns. They include I, you, he, she, it. We know about objective pronouns such as me, them, you, him, and her. And these are used as objects in sentences. And we also know about possessive pronouns such as mine, yours, theirs. And we use these to show ownership. And finally, the noun being replaced by a pronoun is known as that pronoun's antecedent. And now you know about personal pronouns.